While one of the most attractive ways to earn gold in the game, Fractals of the Mists do come with their own drawbacks. While you can easily earn 54 gold an hour when you have the hang of it, there are significant barriers of entry to clear requiring some amount of effort to unlock. In this video we'll get you through all those barriers and up to date on how to get the most gold out of this fun activity. The three barriers are grabbing build and gear, unlocking the group finder for high-end fractals, and leveling the Fractal Attunement mastery track. Some of these parts will, out of necessity, be quite in-depth into something you might already have done. Please feel free to use the timestamps to move past anything you won't personally need. The first barrier, build and gear, has become a lot easier over time. You can look up Meta Battle or Snowcrows to find a build for the class you prefer to play. Snowcrows is the best curated one and thus the one we'll look at in this video. Meta Battle has a UI that many find easier to understand, and you can easily grab a good build from there as well. I highly suggest a build that can provide alacrity or quickness if it's available, since these roles are highly sought after, not only in Fractals but in all game modes. The build will tell you what stats you want on your gear, as you can see in this example Quickness Harbinger build, Viper and Ritualist pieces. Gearing for Fractals has become a lot easier over time. This is the game mode that actually requires Ascended gear due to the infusion slots. The cheapest and most convenient way to get Ascended armor and weapons these days is simply to go into the Wizard's Vault and purchase boxes of it for Astral Acclaim. Many meta stat lines like Berserkers can come directly from these boxes. However, when you need Ritualist survivors, like in our example build, you can change the stats of your Ascended gear pieces. To do so, you'll have to put the piece itself, along with 5 globs of ectoplasm, an anthology of heroes, and either an exotic inscription or insignia into the Mystic Forge. The ectoplasm you get from salvaging rare and exotic gear from the trading post. The anthology of heroes can be purchased from the Mystic Forge attendant for 10 spirit shards, and the insignia or inscription will often require crafting 400, which is nice since the cost for getting your crafting up to 500 to craft Ascended gear from scratch is rather spicy. Sticking with Viper as our example, we can check the Guild Wars 2 wiki for where to get the recipe. Here we see that we need to go to Auric Basin and purchase it for 250 lumps of Aurelium and 32 silver. That done, we need Armorsmith, Leatherworker or Tailor leveled to 400. The easiest way to get this done is to use a tool like GW2 crafts.net, link in the description, where you can click normal guide and, for example, armorsmithing to scroll to find, along with the ads, a complete list of everything you need to purchase to get to 400, and then scroll even further down to find the complete craft by craft guide for you to follow to get there. With all of this done, simply craft 6 Vipers insignias to put into your 6 armor pieces. Or mix and match. Other often used stat lines are Ritualists, which can be cheaply purchased from Tianhua here in Saitung province, Minstrels, purchased from the Itzel vendors here in Tangled Depths, or Harriers and Berserkers. These stat lines you can discover directly in the crafting menu, or Karma purchase the recipe for at the profession vendors. Insignias are for the armor, but for the weapons you need inscriptions, which you get in the same ways, except you need to level Artificer, Huntsman or Weaponsmith. Ready for something more simple? Me too. Ascended trinkets are simple farms from Living World Season 3. Winter berries from Bitterfrost Frontier can be gathered easily and used to purchase your rings and accessories. Blood rubies from Bloodstone Fen can be mined almost as easily and used to purchase your backpiece and amulet. If you only have access to the core game, you might want to simply save the accessories for last, have them drop naturally from Fractals over time, and then purchase the ones you still lack from buy 2046 PRF here. This requires pristine relics that you slowly get from the daily chests and integrated fractal essences that you can get from salvaging rings and trinkets. Nice and straightforward. Gear is all about overcoming agony. This mechanic deals a large amount of damage if it stacks above your agony resistance. At the highest fractal scale, you need 150 agony resistance to completely ignore agony. This requires infusions, which can be specifically slotted into Ascended or Legendary gear. With a full set of Ascended gear and rings that are both attuned and infused, more on rings in a bit, you will have 18 infusion slots. To reach 150 agony resistance raw, you need to have 12 of those slots filled with +8 agony infusions and the other 6 filled with +9. You will slowly get infusion from doing the lower level fractals, and you can combine them at this vendor or with the Artificer skill. You can also purchase them directly from the trading post. +8s go for about 3 gold each, which totals 36 gold, and +9s go for just under 6 gold each, which totals another 36 gold. This means that filling your infusion slots from the very get-go costs 72 gold. The primary way to mitigate this at first is to purchase the heavily discounted tiers of Alba. You get 15 purchases of of those before the price goes up. Then the same deal again. This can help tide you over until you get the agony resistance directly from your gear, but every purchase of this offsets some really nice permanent upgrades later. If you have the patience, I suggest simply doing a couple of hours of gold farming on meta events to get the gold for infusions. I have a video on the best meta events that I'll link to at the end of this one. Finally on gear, I have to talk about attuning and infusing rings. Ascended rings only come with a single infusion slot by default, but you can give them 2 more. The cheap first option is attuning. For this you get 1 agonized essence for 24 silver from this vendor, 1+1 infusion either from a fractal or from the trading post for just about 1 silver, and 1 philosopher's stone that you can get in bundles of 10 for 1 spirit shard from the Mystic Forge Attendant. Then you check your Ascended ring. Upgrading it will destroy any infusion it holds, so if you have already put 1 in, you will need an infusion extraction device from the same vendor that sold you the agonized essence. 24 silver to potentially save 6 gold seems worth it. When you're sure the ring is empty, put it in the Mystic Forge along with the agonized essence, the +1 infusion and the spirit shard, and out pops a ring that has its name changed to start with Attuned. Infusing a ring is a much more expensive process, or one that requires you to already have done a bunch of fractals. It's also done in the Mystic Forge, but requires 5 vials of condensed mist essence, 3 globs of coagulated mist essence, and 1 shard of crystallized mist essence. As you see on the screen, that would cost you a total of 7 gold, 36 silver, and a whopping 750 fractal relics. These are account bound too, so no trading poster for convenience here. However, the essences drop naturally from fractals. Vials from scale 1 to 20 fractals, globs from scale 21 to 50, and shards from 51 to 100. They are random drops, which means you are not guaranteed them at any point, but they are a compelling reason to go back down to lower fractals even when you're able to do higher ones. More on that later. For now, just know that these account for your last 2 infusion slots, which mean that even without them, you should still be able to reach 134 agony resistance, which is enough until scale 92 out of 100, where they expect your agony resistance to be 136. With a tier of Alba potion, you can do up to a scale 97, which means that on most days you can clear the daily objectives without these infusions. The second barrier is the group finder. For fractals, it's split into groupings based on scales, and you can't look at a higher scale grouping until you have unlocked the scale of that grouping's lowest level. And here's the kicker: you only unlock your next level up, no matter which level you take out. Have you grabbed your full gear and infused it, then took down the highest rank fractal 100 Lonely Tower as your first fractal? Congratulations, you get full loot, but you only unlock scale 2 for your own progression, then scale 3, and so on. There are often fewer people looking for group in the lower scalings because doing the higher scalings are simply more efficient. You can sit around a while and update the group finder, or you can take 2 minutes now and just learn how to start your own group. At tier 1 and 2, that is until scale 50, group composition doesn't matter. At scale 3 it only matters a little. This means you can wait on asking for a boon healer and boon DPS until tier 4. Just quickly though, an optimal group has full uptime on alacrity and quickness. Alacrity makes your skills recharge 20% faster, which means they can be used 20% more often, and quickness makes you activate the skills in half the time. Taking together, these are massive boosts in DPS. Groups will also want a healer as things get tougher and more damage is dealt. Fractals can technically be done skillfully enough to get another DPS instead, but it's just not worth the hassle to me. Healer builds in Guild Wars 2 are always made to also either give full uptime on alacrity or on quickness. So the healer fills one of these needs, and then you need a DPS that fills the other. I mostly play Quickness Harbinger, which means I always look for an alacrity healer. When you want to search for these roles, you can also shorten the boon to A or Q, and then write heal or DPS. So I'm generally looking for an A heal. When I look for all of them, I'd write out 2 boon, 1 heal. Note that in a squad of multiple groups, knowing how many of each boon you have filled will make you want to write out 2 heal, 2 alac, 2 quick instead. But that's a strike and rate thing. Then you need to know what people need to do in the instance. When you start out, you want to do the initiate fractals or tier 1 fractals. Most people want to do the daily set of 3 that gives bonus loot, as well as the recommended fractals. That means you'll write T1 plus rec, anyone welcome, if you're not looking for specific roles. Also remember that the first day you start this, you won't be able to do all of the fractals. You can only do the first scale unless someone else in the group has already unlocked higher scales. To signal this, you might want to instead write write T1 plus rec need unlock. Then people know that you can start all the daily shit. As you unlock scale 26, you can write T2 plus recs, since the T1 recommended fractal is still worth doing besides the other dailies. You won't need to clear the tier 1 dailies again. Doing the tier 2 dailies simply give you the bonus loot for both tier 2 and tier 1. One last way, if you want to grind this, you can simply say so. Write grinding fractal scales starting scale 1, or whatever scale your highest unlock is. People will join if they have that same interest. And a quick tip, you can start your group finder while on another map in case you're worried that it will take a while to find the group. Run around in Skywatch Archipelago and open greater arcane chests, go to Statchanging Province and get the 6-hour 20% plus experience all sources buff, anything chill you like that lets you teleport when the party gathers. In my experience, it doesn't take too long to fill a group, but it's been a while since I did anything but tier 4. I do follow this advice when waiting for a strike group to form though. Now that you know how to gear and find a group, there's one last barrier we need to get you through before we can get to the glorious golden reign of profits. And that's the Fractal Attunement Mastery track. It's pretty straightforward, but also the key to unlocking the dailies and other profitable rewards. Basically, you want to fill this out as fast as possible. In total, that requires 11 Central Tyria mastery points. Luckily for you, there are 15 mastery points to be gotten from doing challenges inside the fractals themselves. Some of them are as simple as Horric's Horror, which simply requires you to kill Horric inside the Captain Mitrin boss fractal, which you will automatically do. Others are more out of the way, like All Out of Clock, which requires that you find and kill all the chickens in the urban battleground fractal. I haven't done that one yet. You can find the list here and work for those you find most doable. You can even set up a group for it. Simply write the achievements you want to do in the group description. I could fill a lot of runtime by explaining every single fractal achievement, but other people have already done great videos on that, and this is supposed to be a video on getting gold from a fun activity, so let's get to that part. The unique currencies you get from fractals are fractal relics, pristine fractal relics, and unstable fractal essence, as well as random ascended gear drops and large mist potions from the recommended fractals. The rest is loot like what you've heard a million times before. Sell it all on the trading post with a few exceptions. Copper-fed salvage-o-magic enjoyers can identify blue and green unidentified gear and salvage the results for a profit. Silver-fed salvage-o-magic chads can identify yellow gear and salvage that for a profit. And exotic gear can be salvaged with black lion kits that you can get from the Wizard's Vault. Of course, everything can be salvaged with everything, but this is the way to do it most optimally. The pristine fractal relics are used for those trinkets I spoke about earlier if you're really desperate to get them. But after that, the most profitable use is to break them down into normal fractal relics. Long term, you might want to save up 18,000 fractal relics for the infinite mist potions, since you will want to have these on for challenge mode fractals, and the non-infinite potions you can get from the daily recommended fractals can instead be sold to this mists potion brewer for 15 relics each. That means that 400 daily runs after getting your infinite potions, you will be getting profit from them. And those 45 daily fractal relics can be worth as much as 3 gold, 15 silver each day. How? Well, the primary uses for fractal relics are to purchase ascended salvage tools from this vendor to break down any ascended gear that you don't need. You can sell whatever you get out of them on the trading post, but keep some integrated fractal matrices around for purchases like the infinite potions. Fast Farming notes that a salvage kit profits on average 4 silver per relic used. It also mentions the other use, your daily purchase of fractal encryption keys. The overview here only thinks that's worth over just a silver per key, but if you click onto the page itself, you can see that that's not quite the case. The keys you purchase with a deep discount are worth 7 silver, 42 copper each. The keys you purchase with a discount about 2 silver, 38 copper, and the keys purchased without the discount are at a loss. Please note, however, that this is with the assumption that you purchase the fractal encryptions from the trading post, where they sell for 21 silver, 57 copper. From your daily run, you will get between 30 and 40 fractal encryptions, as well as a couple of keys. But even on days you're not running fractals, you should still purchase deeply discounted keys, since you can turn a large profit on those from encryptions ordered on the trading post. So an average T4 plus Rex run would end with you opening your fractal encryptions, sending all resources available to your storage, turning to a vendor to sell all the junk, opening and salvaging the unidentified gear you prefer, and selling the rest on the trading post, along with anything else you have left over from the encryptions. Then walking to the potion seller and selling your leftover potions for more relics, leaving only 1 copy of each, so if you have one if a group asks you to put them on. Then you look over the ascended drops, attune attuning any rings in the hall before salvaging them, since they drop loot as if they were an additional ring for each attunement and infusion. The infusion is too expensive, though you can loot a ring that already has it, but the attunement is cheaper than the average matrices that you get from it. When all of the gear is salvaged and sold, you're done. My example day here was for the profit of 54 gold, 79 silver and 79 copper, which took me 56 minutes for a gold per hour of just under 60. That compares well to the fast farming average that assumes 54 gold per hour before challenge modes. The difference, I assume, comes from my calculations assuming fractal relics are all used on deeply discounted keys worth a profit of 7 silver, 13 copper each, instead of them assuming you might sometimes even buy the full price keys at a loss for an average of 1 silver and 8 coppers profit. And on the note of challenge modes, while you have what you came for, I'd like to tell you about the Fractal 96 Nightmare challenge mode, which is pretty easy and often tagged on by groups. Please challenge the subscribe button while I give you some pointers that you can use to easily beat this specific CM as your first step into that world. First up, you're going to see people do /GG at some points to get through parts faster. That's a standard tactic of Fractal challenge modes. Learning when to /GG makes for a happy group. The first time you do it in Nightmare is after beating the 3 Humanite constructs. Respawning after that resets all of your cooldowns, which means you can go all out on the constructs and then come at the boss refreshed. This saves a bit of time. The boss will do AoE around himself and throw out balls, as well as have a break bar that you want to break. He will also spawn new constructs that you have to kill to damage him again. The ads will fill up the entire room with pulls that you need to stand close to them to avoid. When you've beaten that boss, you have to kill some Karka and stand in circles until a progress bar fills up. Avoid red bubbles as they deal damage, blue bubbles heal you, and when the circle pulses, it will send out a shockwave that knocks you down. Dodge through that. Then you will come to a room with more circles. Take the ones on the sides first as they throw AoE into the middle one. Dodge roll through the AoE zones to reach the side circles. After that, run up this ramp dodging more AoE to get to boss 2. Activate the boss by waiting a bit while Marjorie and Casimir clones auto attack you, and then /GG when the boss spawns to reset and get everyone in. Don't stand in the fire, break the boss's break bar, and every so often he will spawn Shadow Karga at each of the 4 cardinal directions. You will have to split up for these as they all have to die before the boss finishes channeling, or he will insta-kill you. On to the final boss. This guy does a big knockdown attack followed by circles of massive damage. If you are knocked down, spam click your dodge roll to get out of the follow-up in time. Then, every so often you'll have to get into a dome to avoid big damage, like with the first boss. At 66 and 33% health, the boss will spawn 5 small circles that you have to stand in like between boss 1 and 2. Spread out and know that there's a grace here. Even if 4 of you die while in the circles, if the 5th one manages to get the last circle done, all of you will respawn. Then, at like 15%, the boss will make a big circle and turn your screen weird. Stand in it and defeat him while dodging hallucinations. Boom! Easy 40 unidentified fractal essence that can only really be used for account-bound infusions and cosmetics. Oh, and kill proof for people that want you to have 20,000 to join their CM groups. Oh well, check out the poll for the next video over on my Patreon, link in the description, or go check out the meta events or strike missions to get some gold for your infusions. See you over there.